In this tutorial, we're going to take a loop at the trigger modes within Impact. And so in our top right corner here, we can see the trigger, and we have one shot, loop, normal, and toggle. So we're going to focus on these, but we may touch on some of these other options as well. So normally when we're working with drums, they're going to be, the samples at least, will be one shots. So as I select these, you can see these are all one shots. And that just basically means that they're going to play all the way through for the entire sample when it's in one shot mode. Now the next, we're going to skip over loop and we have normal. Now if I were to switch this one, now you can see when I press and release, it's not playing all the way back through, because when we switch to normal, it's making use of the amp envelope down below. And the release is all the way down, so that's 0 seconds if you look at that little white pop-up window. Now, if I were to drag this and take this up, we can see that that window is going to let us know how much time we're adding to this. So if I take it up, say, to about 500 milliseconds, now that's lasting a little bit longer. We can take this all the way up to 30 seconds. So, of course, that's going to allow it to play all the way through. Now, what I generally like to use this for is if I bring in my own samples. It could be of a vocal. It could be of a sample that I've taken from anything, and I want to control how much of it's playing back. Then I may use the release. I may use the start and end markers, because I could, if I pull this end marker in and press this again, it's going to stop there and not pay attention to the release time, because this end marker is much shorter than the 30 seconds that we've added here. Now we're going to come back to this in just a second, and we may even bring in a sample and tweak it a bit with these settings, but let's hop over to Bank B to take a look at the loop trigger mode. So usually in Bank B, they have a lot of loops in here, and by default, if you click, they kind of start and don't play all the way through. Now, if I were to come to the release, I didn't actually try this out before the video, but okay, so if I take the release time up, then I can control how long that's going to play back, but I'm going to take it down to 0. Okay, so this is the same deal. The release is all the way down, so that's stopping playback as soon as I release, but I'm going to change this to toggle mode. So whenever we're in loop or one shot, we have toggle available. If I come to normal, toggle is not available, but let's come to loop, toggle is available. And now when I activate toggle, I can press and release, and this is going to play back over and over, hence the term loop, until I press it again. So that's the toggle function. Now, there's something that I want to mention here, and that is the quantize here. So let's play this back, and I'm going to take this off, the quantize off, and our click track is on. So when I trigger, it's just going to start playing immediately. Let's take that off. Let's stop playback. But I'm going to change this quantize to bars. So now when I press this, it's only going to start at the beginning of a bar. So let's come to the beginning, and I'm pressing it. It doesn't start, but now on bar 2, it is starting. Okay, so now I am going to, let's put this on toggle, and let's change this to bar. Okay, let's come back to the beginning, and I'm going to double click to add a MIDI part. Let's extend that out. I'll press P as in Paul to set a loop region around that, and the / to activate that loop. And let's start this. I'm going to double click, and let's see, I'm going to hold control so we can zoom in here. And let's make use of the new feature where we can view this here. Let's switch to the pads. Actually, I'm going to need to see to activate these modes. So let's go ahead and start this one again. And this one. I'm going to stop that because I wanted to start on bar 1. That's the one thing about the kits that come with Studio One. It's hard to find quality sounds. They're all so cheesy. But we'll just roll with it. Now let's get up the impact again. Now if I were to bring in, let's switch out that kick. So and let's switch out this terrible snare. And let's try to bring in a vocal, because I want to take a look at using the amp envelope in the normal mode and how I would use that, or even the start and end markers. Well, maybe we could use. Let's just put that on here. Okay, so I just let that whole thing play, but if we switch this to normal, so you see that kind of fades out. I like that. It's a little bit cleaner. So let's come up to, what is that, C2? I'm going to press Shift and L. Now that's going to kind of get old after a little bit, but whatever. Let's see if we can find. Okay. Now I'm gonna have to tune this. So in this instance, I could use the end marker here to control how long that's going to play back, or I could switch it to the normal mode and then use the release time. But I think I'm just going to use the end marker just so you guys can see how I would go about using this in this sort of situation. But I'm going to have to tune this. So Let's start our loops again. And then let's left click hold and zoom in a bit, because this needs to start a little bit quicker. Let's take the level up. And let's actually send this out on channel 2 so we can add some reverb. We'll expand that out. Let's type in reverb. I got that on the wrong channel, so let's move that over. Pull that over there. Remove that. We can close this out. I'm not going to be picky about the reverb. Double click on our MIDI part. Here's that loop that I brought in. Maybe take the level down a little bit. Let's take the filter on, put that on a high pass. I kind of like that little ending there. It's a little bit off, but okay. But this went on a little bit longer than I thought, but I just wanted to show you how you can make use of the trigger modes as well as the start and end markers to control the playback of your samples. And I hope that you also saw here that the quality of the drum samples that you're using is going to play a big part with the quality of your final beat. So I really wouldn't recommend using the kits that come with Studio One, because again, they're just pretty cheesy. I can usually only find 1, 2, maybe 3 samples that can be used in my tracks. But anyhow, again, we'll wrap up here, and for the final bit, if you are interested in one-on-one training with me, I do provide that over Zoom, so you can check out the pinned comment below or check out the information in the description area of this video. And thanks for watching, guys, and I hope to see you in the next tutorial.